This is just going to be a trade recap of the past couple of days. There was a dub I took yesterday, and I didn't take a trade today. I really did want to take a trade, but I missed my opportunity. So yesterday's trade was really good, but at the same time, I messed up on my risk management. So going into this trade, I was very bullish, and the reason why I was bullish is because I'm looking for SMTs, and once the market has created some form of SMT and has taken out a form of liquidity, then I am going for that position. In this trade, there was a SMT created, and right when the SMT was created, there was a break of structure to the upside. So normally, at first, I didn't trade in the 1 minute, only because I was looking for more confirmation in the higher time frame. But I failed to realize that with the higher time frames, the market doesn't really retrace back into the zone that I need to, and I had to kind of rewire my mindset and go into the market looking for like shorter time frames so that I can execute in better positions ultimately. In this trade, there was an SMT. The market took out some form of, and what is it, liquidity. I think it was. I don't. I should have had. I should have kept the sessions open. So this is Nasdaq. Nasdaq took out this liquidity here while ES was moving at a higher pace to the upside. So we did not take out any lows in the S&P 500. With this knowledge at this point, only thing I'm looking for is, like I said, a breaker structure or a market structure shift to the upside, and then a retracement back inside of a fair value gap or an inverse fair value gap possibly. Yesterday's trade did that exact same thing I needed to do. We enter into the trade, so we have the SMT being created. We break this high with displacement. So now that we know that the market is trying to push up, all we're looking for is a long position. At first, I didn't enter into this inverse fair value gap because I was a little skeptical. I didn't really trust that it'll work out, but I had to force myself to press that entry. I almost got stuck, or I almost got caught in that FOMO, which is fear of missing out. And I'm glad that I just pressed execution, or I'm glad that I did execute that trade, because if I didn't execute the trade, I wouldn't have even taken a trade yesterday. Boom. We enter back into this inverse fair value gap. I place longs, and I see that we have not taken out these Asian session highs. This is also buy side liquidity. S&P 500 has already taken out these highs. Has already taken out these highs, and I know that the market has to move back upwards. And you can just tell from here, there was this SMT was created, if this works. This SMT was created so that the market can push back down. We have a 9:30 open, which is the New York session. 9:30 open right here. So we have a 9:30 open. The market creates this bearish SMT, comes down, takes out liquidity, creates another bullish SMT, and this at this point this was the leading index, because since the S&P 500 took out those Asian highs, there was buy side liquidity being taken out. We made a higher high in S&P 500, and we made a lower high in Nasdaq. S&P 500 becomes the lagging index, while Nasdaq is the leading, because we haven't taken out those highs yet. With that knowledge, we see, like I said, the SMT being created. Once that happens, now it switches. Nasdaq then becomes the leading index. Actually, no, the lagging index. Nasdaq then becomes the lagging index. Always trade the lagging indexes, because those will give you the better risk, or you get a better risk to reward trading those lagging indexes. So for instance, this SMT was created, and then like I'm gonna just skip that part because I already talked about the SMT. You already know the strategy, but this is where I messed up. I messed up because of my risk management. I see we're making big pushes to the upside. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. The issue that I do have is moving my stops way too high. with me targeting pretty much close to a 1 to 4, this is a 1 to 3, but with me targeting close to a 1 to 4, I should have honestly kept my stops at break even, but I had moved my stops above a 15-minute fair value gap that was formed. And this was the gap I'm talking about here. So when I saw the market move up higher, I was like, okay, we have this bullish order, or not order block. We have this bullish fair value gap being created, and that should hold the position. But since we didn't break structure to the upside just yet, that was not a smart move. Honestly, what I should have done was just leave my break even trade either, or just leaving it even at break even, or just leaving it just above this fair value gap that was here. I didn't do that. We get stopped out at plus $560 for the day. And right when the market retraced back into this fair value gap, we made a massive expansion back to take out those highs. That is such a man. I'm trying to work on positive affirmations and not speak negatively or speak negative about myself about when it comes to trading. But bro, that was such a rookie mistake. Like, man, that was such a W trade. And honestly, I don't know why I'm trying to go for a 1 to 4s in the first place, because I'm still in drawdown. This strategy normally works for a 1 to 3, and I would have easily gotten a 1 to 3. I would have easily gotten that 1 to 3 for today. I mean, for yesterday, honestly. If I had just stuck to my system, stuck to how I trade, and just locked in. And be like, okay, if I get a 1 to 3, I'm perfectly fine with a 1 to 3. Or just call it at that. But since I didn't do that, I brought more risk into play, and I moved my stops way too high. Got stopped out. Nothing wrong with that trade. That trade was still fine. There was, the only thing with this trade was just the risk management, and it was more of a mental thing, if I'm being completely honest with you. Anyway, today's trade. I didn't even take a trade today, and the reason why I didn't take a trade is somewhat valid, but I still could have caught a dub. The same thing happened today like it did yesterday. There was an S&T. We didn't really get a market structure shift, but we did break above these highs. I guess that can be considered a market structure shift. So once we close above these highs here, I was looking for a displacement up before making that retracement back down. But we barely closed above this fair value gap that was created, or this inverse fair value gap here. So just so y'all can see what I'm talking about, we barely closed above this inverse fair value gap, and I was looking for displacement. So I didn't really consider taking that entry at the time. Like I said, we've already confirmed that the market is going to move up higher. We have this bullish S&T being created, and we're just waiting for more confirmations and more confluence to be presented before we make an execution. That's it. I wasn't confident that the market would work out like this, or I wasn't confident that the trade wouldn't work out. Why is this? Am I tripping? Oh, here we go. But yeah, so like I said, I wasn't confident that it would work out, if I'm being completely honest with you. And right when the market closed above this inverse fair value gap, retracing back down, is normally where I place the enter. That's normally what I would do. Place the entry inside of the inverse gap. At this point, just going for 1 to 3. And the same thing, we had these Asian highs, also known as buy side liquidity, or can be considered buy side liquidity, has not been taken out yet. We have all these fair swing highs. We have a swing high here, boom here, another one, all the way up to the top. So we had a lot of zones of liquidity that needed to be hit. And dude, the market expanded even higher. Like that expanded to a 1 to 5. Or a 1 to 4.5. But still, that's still in this. If I caught this trade today, bro, that would have been insane. That would have been such an insane trade. But things happen. Trading doesn't always go as planned sometimes, but that's really not an issue. This trade could have been way better, in my opinion. Like I said, I could have taken the trade, but then I had to start realizing some things. I had to shift my mindset because I was feeling myself starting to get greedy and trying to chase money. So one of my rules is 2 hours in the market and get out. If I can't find a trade or a setup within those 2 hours of market open to whatever the 2 hours is, then I'm exiting, I'm closing the laptop, calling it a day. I found myself waiting till the market takes out these buy side liquidity before thinking about going short. Moments before that, I had to realize that I'm not going to get 1% better if I take a trade today. I'm not, because I've already missed my entry. It is 2 hours and 30 minutes past my original entry time. There's no point in taking a trade. So I didn't take a trade, and I want to say I got to a 1% better today because I didn't take a trade. One thing I wish I was a little bit more quick about was turn off my phone, because I've been trading on my phone. That's the only time I can trade is on my phone. And I wish I would have just closed the laptop or turned off my phone faster, just so that I can get better and get used to not taking a trade within a certain time period. So, like I said, I did get 1% better today, even though I did not take a trade. Only reason why I got 1% better is because I stuck to my rule. And honestly, if I had stayed and if I saw this, okay, hold on, let's see. I closed my phone around, it was around 12. It was around noon. And we didn't take those Asian highs, or we didn't take out that buy side liquidity until 12:15. So if I had stayed, I would have waited another 15 minutes, wasted more time, and then right when I see, and it wasn't even a good setup. There was no setup either. And I don't even think there was an S&T being created at the time anyway. So either way, it just was not a good trade. And I'm glad I didn't take the trade, because if I did take a trade, I would have taken an L. I would have taken an L, and I would have lost all the profit that I've gained for this week. Monday and Tuesday, I didn't take a trade. Wednesday, I took a trade, but I took an L. And the reason why I took an L is because market conditions was very weird. And I honestly didn't know what the market was going to do, yet I still placed a trade. That's what happens when you take a trade when you don't know what's going to happen. You take an L. But I end up taking an L. And the reason why I took an L is because the market created a bullish SMT. I did not realize that the market was creating a bullish SMT until after I lost. I was like, bro, there's no way this actually just happened. And I'm going to do a little bit more, not now, but after I get done with this, I'm going to just kind of review the mistakes I made the past couple of days. And I think I'm going to go a little bit over last week's trade as well, because I lost 3 days in a row last week. Right now, I'm currently in drawdown at $788 on my Express Funded account. So at first it was $1,300, and we gained that 560 for today. You can do the math. There you go. So we made really good progress, and we're going to continue making good progress. This was the end of the week. I was not able to do the day in the life like I wanted to because of work. Man, work really just takes out a lot of time for me to do certain things, but it's okay. We got to improvise and figure new things out. Okay. But anyway, that's all I really have. I wish I would have explained these a lot better. I feel like when I was talking, it kind of didn't make sense. But hopefully y'all did learn from what I did from today and from yesterday, because I think that's very valuable information that I just gave you. I pretty much gave y'all the strategy that I use. I'm still trying to work on getting it better and trusting in the strategy. because I have the strategy. I know exactly what the market or what exactly the strategy is in order to take a dub, but it's just trusting that it'll work out as it should. So anyway, that's all I really have for the video today. If you like the video, comment, subscribe. Hey, even subscribe. Hey, you never know. Hey, I'll take a subscriber. You know, I'll take one. I'll take one. But you know, that's all I really have for you guys. Peace out. Hope you. I'm gonna get better at this outro. Okay. Hopefully, you'll have a good day. See y'all next week.